Hi guys, I'm back again. I'm going to try something a little different today. Many of you in the BC are probably aware of the band Parliament-Funkadelic, P-Funk. And if you know anything about them, you know that Bernie Worrell, their keyboardist, pretty talented musician. He's been with them, I think, from the beginning. I don't have a lot of, actually I don't have any P-Funk except for a CD I picked up recently, Funkadelic's Free Your Mind. Sadly I don't have any other P-Funk. I look for it on vinyl, but anytime I see an original copy, it's always trashed. So I may have to go out and get some reissues. But the reason I bring up P-Funk and Bernie Worrell is, I follow Bernie on Facebook. And I got active with Facebook about a year ago, really. Starting to use it to its full potential. I add a lot of musicians, but unfortunately I found out that Bernie Worrell is suffering from stage 4 lung cancer, and the outlook is not too good. There's a big concert going on this Monday coming up in New York, a benefit concert for him to help raise money to pay for his medical expenses. But the reason for this video, I wanted to kind of show, I collect a lot of stuff by the producer Bill Laswell and his projects. Producer out of New York, works with a lot of kind of jazz, funk, electronic, hip-hop musicians. And Bernie Worrell has always been a big player in his stable of musicians, way back since the early 80s. Bernie had kind of played with the Talking Heads on and off in the early 80s, and then kind of took up with Bill Laswell. And you'll see how important a player was as I go through my collection here, how many projects he played on. CD, I'll just show some of his solo stuff I have first. This CD I picked up, looks like I made a little note, I picked this up in Orlando. This is a single off of his Funk of Ages CD. And it's actually signed by Bernie to someone, I don't know who. I think I picked this up at a thrift store. That's on the Gramavision label. And then this killer CD, Blacktronic Science. Some really crazy funky artwork there. Another one on the Gramavision label. And then this one, which to me is really kind of the pinnacle of it, his solo work, just an outstanding album. This is, what was this called? Pieces of Wu, The Other Side. This is on the German CMP Records label. Produced by Bill Laswell, but just really allows Bernie to kind of flesh out his ideas and compositions, and just got some beautiful playing. I've got a little bit playing in the background here. And then this is Free Agent, A Space Odyssey. I picked this up off his website years ago, ordered it. Okay, so that's his solo stuff I have. I'll start going through his collaborations with Bill Laswell and the crew here. So a band that was not really Bill Laswell's band is a drummer named Anton Fier. He had a band called the Golden Palominos, and the first album was kind of more of a cutting-edge avant-garde album with like John Zorn and Arto Lindsay and Bill Laswell and those guys. But after that it became more of a kind of a avant-garde pop band, I guess you'd say, with some hints sometimes of kind of country, and really a strange mixture, but I enjoyed it. But he played on a few of those. This is Visions of Excess. Michael Stipe is on this one from REM. And here's a single from that album, The Animal Speaks. What's kind of interesting is on one side you've got vocals, same track, on one side you got vocals by John Lydon from Public Image Limited, Sex Pistols, and then the other side the same song with vocals by Jack Bruce. And another Golden Palomino's album, Blast of Silence. Okay, and then one of his early collaborations with Laswell on the Celluloid label. This is a classic here, World Destruction. It's John Lydon from Sex Pistols, Public Image Limited with Africa Bambaataa. But Bernie plays keyboards on this. Here's another alternate mix of the same track. And speaking of John Lydon and Public Image Limited, he played on the album on Elektra. It's from 86 or so, I think, 85, 86. Along with a lot of other fantastic musicians, Steve Vai, Tony Williams, Ginger Baker. I think Shankar played on there, the violinist. Another early production on the Celluloid label. This is Deadline, Down by Law, featuring the drummer Philip Wilson, as well as people like Jonas Hellborg, Manu Dibango, Olu Dara, Jaco Pastorius, however you say it. And then I mentioned Ginger Baker from the Public Image Limited album. He played on a couple of Ginger's albums. This one off the Celluloid label, Horses and Trees. Fantastic album. There's Ginger. A nice painted cover on this. And then the follow-up to that, this one on the Axiom album. This is Middle Passage. So he's a valuable sideman on all these, these early recordings, or all these recordings really. There's Manu Dibango, African sax player. Had a big hit with Soul Makasa. This is on the Celluloid label as well. Last Poets, the kind of spoken word early rap group. It recorded for Alan Douglas, I think, early on, and then in the 80s recorded an album for Celluloid. This is Oh My People. But it features Bernie on a couple tracks on this one. Sorry about the glare. Another one from the Axiom label. This is Bahia Black, I think it's called. I'm big on Portuguese here. Capitão do Asfalto. This is a single off the album here. You can see Bernie's name in there. Kind of funky mixture of Brazilian percussion and you got like Henry Threadgill playing flute on this. Can't remember who else played in this album, but it's a pretty good album. Material, which was kind of Bill Laswell's, not really a band, but his central core of working musicians. He'd release albums under the name Material, and this is one of the early ones. Is Third Power on the Axiom label, which is an offshoot of the Island Records label. That's what Axiom is. You can see some of the musicians on there. Sly and Robbie, Jamaican dub duo. I think a couple of the Jungle Brothers are on this one. Bootsy. And then an early single here. This is not really. This is an 80s single, Gil Scott-Heron. This is a rerun. The Late Late Show, black and white pictures from long ago. It's him making fun of Ronald Reagan, basically. Haven't we seen this show somewhere before? Yeah. So another one on the celluloid label. This is some. There's a group from Senegal, I think. Touré Kunda. Yeah, celluloid kind of. I think they're a French label, and so they had some kind of African musicians from French-speaking countries that record on the label. This is one of them, Touré Kunda, and Laswell happened to produce this one. And Bernie plays on this. And then I mentioned Sly and Robbie, the dub duo out of Jamaica. This is Rhythm Killers. This one's actually on Island Records. But it's got some of the guys from P-Funk on this. I don't know if you can see that. And then my last vinyl here I found that's got Bernie on it. This is another Africa Bambaataa. Beware, the funk is everywhere. This is on Tommy Boy here. And I think Laswell produces a couple tracks on this one. The Fats Comet Tech Head crew produce a couple. Okay, so that's it for vinyl. I've got a whole bunch of CDs. Yeah, I collected most of my Bill Laswell collection on CD because a lot of it was never available on vinyl, and at the time, CD was my preferred medium just because I was in school and I was traveling, and it's hard to lug around, a few hundred albums. And you have to move every year or two into a different apartment or different rental house or something. So I mentioned the Golden Palominos, Anton Fier's band. This is How It Feels on the Restless label. I think it's Laurie Carson, who's the singer on this one, the main singer. Another Sly and Robbie. This one is Language Barrier. Can't remember if this is on Island or what. And then a band that kind of Laswell put together, not so much a band. I'm not sure originally the idea was to put together as a band or just a one-off project, but it kind of became a touring thing, and they played some of the festivals here and there. This is Praxis, Mutandis, Transmutation. So this is Bernie Worrell on keyboards, Bootsy Collins on bass, Buckethead on guitar, Brain on drums, and a guy named AF Next Man Flip on turntables. But this is just a killer album, classic at the time. And speaking of Praxis, that's from, let's say, the early 90s or mid 90s, and then, like I said, they played different festivals throughout the years. This one's from much later, in 2004. They played, I guess, Bonnaroo in Tennessee. And then the Praxis Profanation album. This is a Japanese copy here. I think it's got an extra track or something. But by this point, it wasn't so much a band anymore. It's kind of the core group of musicians, but a lot of different people added on, like Ram LZ, the rapper, Hawkman, Dr. Israel, another rapper, kind of drum and bass musician. Iggy Pop sings on a track or two. Killer Priest, Mike Patton from Faith No More. Tatsuya Yoshida, Japanese drummer. Tomo Yoshihide, Japanese guitarist, turntablist. And then another, I mentioned the material conglomeration of musicians. This was kind of a classic Hallucination Engine off the Axiom label. Just all kinds of people playing on this one. Wayne Shorter, Simon Shaheen, the Palestinian violinist or viola player, Nikki Skopolidis on guitar, Bernie, Bootsy, Shankar, the Indian violinist, Sly Dunbar from Sly and Robbie, Jonas Hellborg, the Swedish bass player, Zakir Hussain, Indian tabla player, Chirlik Gurtu, another Indian percussionist, Ayib Dayeng, a West African percussionist. And William Burroughs, I don't know if I mentioned him, some spoken word of his on this album, just a classic. And then sort of as a band, a live album, this is live in Japan. They toured Japan, played a few shows. This one, it's got Ginger Baker on drums, Bernie on keys, a guy named Fode Musa Soso, a singer and kora and Duzangani player from the Gambia, West African country. Nikki Skopolitis on guitar, Aib Dayeng on percussion. I love this album. There's a video of this tour also. Another Laswell kind of project, same sort of idea, Sacred System. It was more him, but bringing in other musicians to kind of flesh out a, I don't know how to describe it, but this one is Nagwal site, or Nawal. Bernie in there among a whole list of slew of talented musicians. And then kind of Bill Laswell's latest kind of group or collective of musicians. This one actually is more of a performing group. They play shows, although it does have kind of a revolving cast of musicians. This is Inamorata. This is Method of Defiance. We got everybody on here from Pharoah Sanders to John Zorn, the Masada String Trio, Buckethead, Toshinori Kondo, Japanese trumpet player, Nils Petter Mover, Norwegian trumpet player, Pete Cozy, guitarist, Kirsch Calais, Indian percussionist. Yeah, it's all kinds of people in this. And then another one from Method of Defiance. This is Nihon. But this is a much smaller. You can see a lineup on this one, much smaller. It's kind of a drum and bass type sort of thing, electronics, drum and bass mixed together. So a couple with the guitarist James Blood Ulmer, kind of carrying on the harmonic tradition. Although these get a little more into the sort of the R&B funk sort of thing. The first one is Third Rail, South Delta Space Age. But this is Blood Ulmer on guitar, Laswell on bass, Joseph Zigaboo Modeliste from the Meters, I think, on drums, Bernie on keys, Amina Claudine Myers, another great organ key player. That was, what label that's on? Oh, Antilles label. And then this is Blood Ulmer's Blue Blood on another Laswell startup label called Anarrhythmic. Alright, and then I mentioned the Last Poets already. Another Laswell startup was the Black Ark label, which is a division of Ryko Records. They recorded some of the P-Funk artists on this, as well as the Last Poets. This is Holy Terror, and an album or two from kind of solo albums from the guys from the Last Poets. This one's got Bootsy and Bernie, Grandmaster Melly Mel, and Umar bin Hassan, Abiodun Oyewole, and the Last Poets. And the same label, Black Ark, this is Bootsy's project. This is called Zillatron, Lord of the Harvest. Some really crappy artwork. I never liked the artwork on this one. But Bootsy, Buckethead, Bill Laswell, Bernie, kind of an offshoot of the Praxis project. And then some more oddball stuff. The Japanese drummer Hideo Yamaki. This is the Shadowrun project off the Japanese Mercury label. Robert Musso, he was he's a guitarist, but he's also a recording engineer who worked with Laswell for many years. There's a solo project of his called Inner Medium. It was on the Japanese DIW label. But it's got like Carl Berger, Charles Burnham, Lance Carter, Bayard Lancaster. Probably heard some of these names before. Dave Liebman and Bernie, of course. The Axiom Funk is a compilation on Axiom label. A lot of these, tracks constructed. Most of them actually tracks made for this album. This is Axiom Funk, Funkonomicon. You can kind of see the art there. I don't know if that's the artist who did some of the P-Funk stuff or if he's just kind of copying the style. There's 2 CDs in this one. Bernie's all over this stuff, of course. And then the last 2, I really like these. These are jazz recordings here, but they're both produced by Laswell. First is Pharoah Sanders, Save Our Children. This is on Verve. And you got like Bernie Worrell, Zakir Hussain, Trilat Gurtu, Asante, a couple singers out of Brooklyn, I think. And then the other one is Message from Home by Pharoah. Also on the Verve label. So you can see, that's what I found. I just kind of pulled what I knew that he played on. That's you can see how important he was to Bill Laswell here. Just as one of his main musical cohorts. Most people are familiar with Bernie from, of course, the P-Funk and the Talking Heads, but I think I looked on Discogs and he's got like 386 listings for collaborating on instrument-wise. So well-recorded musician. There's a DVD out called like Stranger on Earth or something stranger, Bernie Worrell on Earth. I haven't seen it, but I guess it kind of talks about how he's, played on all these things, but he's not well, they're not really celebrated, and I guess probably how he got screwed by the P-Funk machine and never quite made the money he should have made, or got the recognition he deserved. Kind of sad, but this is more of a tribute than anything. I just, he's in bad shape, I think. I don't think he's going to be around a whole lot longer, and I just I've always enjoyed his playing, and I'll definitely miss him when he's gone. He's an exceptional musician. So that's it for now. Bye.